Welcome to Past the GrigSkin, a football podcast. I'm a host, Grig Jones, and I hope you all become part of the Gridiron Gang by the end of this episode. You may be asking yourself, who is this bozo? Why listen to him blabber off my ear? Well, I guess I've been a fan of football for going on 35 years now. My pop taught me on his knee and I played in high school, left tackle. If anyone knows what they're talking about on account of football, it's me, Grig. And I'm here to make the off-season the on-season. Let's get one thing straight. I'm going to be as hard-hitting as LT, Lawrence Taylor, and as in control of the game as Big Brett Favre. This is the first episode, so let's call it First Down. First things first, you're going to want to trust your host. To be perfectly honest, I gotta admit, I had to delete the real first draft of episode 1, First Down. Turns out, you can't use real band's music without their permission. My buddy Radushi told me this back from his radio days on 103.3 FM. Unfortunately, my last show had the best of the best. We're talking AC/DC, we're talking Led Zepp. Making the best of the bad situation here, I get to pull out my axe and make the tunes myself. So here's the theme. Welcome back to Past the GrigSkin. First things first on First Down, I'm going to try to be neutral, but let me tell you, I'm a Packers fan. I'm talking the Green Bay Packers. Been a fan since I was probably 2 years old, and I'm a fan now. I'm going to try to keep it neutral here, but I'm sure I'm going to let some Packers talk slip through. Another thing, there's a lot of teams I hate here. I hate the Cowboys, like everyone. I hate the Lions, and I hate the Vikings. Division rivals are the strongest. But most of all, I hate the New England Patriots. They get away when Brady's not busy deflating balls, or spying on the Jets, or even abusing the tuck rule. He's on the field crying, and that's why I like to call him Baby Brady. And I'd say that Belichick has something up his sleeves all the time, except he wears this stupid looking at every single game, every single practice, and every single press conference. Just can't stand him. Now that you know who I am, let's get started. Topic of the day, let's say first topic of the day, is Colin Kaepernick. The 49ers longtime QB seems unhappy down there in San Francisco, and it looks like it's time to pack up. No one team that'd love him. I hope he goes to the Green Bay Packers. He'll be the backup for the Pack, and once Aaron Rodgers retires and gets ready to go to Canton, I've been tracking his career for a long time, and he's on the fast track to success. He just needs a good coach. He lacks just about nothing. Runs like a rabbit and passes like a cannon. But he just can't win. That's where Mike McCarthy and the Packers will turn him around and get some rings. Speaking of the Niners, what a mess. First of all, you got a bunch of wusses. Remember those 5 players from their defenses all retired because they're afraid of a little head injury known as a concussion. Don't know what's happening to players this day, but I know they're a lot softer than they used to be. And then of course, to try to make things worse, they brought in Chip Kelly, who made a real mess of the Eagles and is going to bring that fire back to San Francisco. Now, I'd hate to use bad language if there are any ladies present, but who am I kidding? There's no ladies listening to NFL podcast, so I'm going to use my favorite theory, and that's whoever smelt it, dealt it. Chip Kelly's made a mess of the Eagles by saying that McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, and even Riley Cooper were the ones making the farts. Well, he's the one that's farting himself, because he's the one delting it. He's the one saying who he's smelling it. Though it is true he got rid of Taco Tuesday, I'm sure his predecessor, Dandy Andy Reid, was much better and would have owned up to any fart that he dealt. That's why the Chiefs are playing much better and are even a playoff team, while the Eagles continue to crash and burn, and Philadelphia's on fire and is a mess. Things aren't that okay in Green Bay either. We got a problem with our longtime running back, Eddie Lacy. And as I'm sure you know, he was once the heart of this team, aside from Aaron Rodgers and our hard-hitting defense. As it turns out, Eddie Lacy doesn't have the heart of a Packer right now. He's decided that food and not exercising is better than hitting the gym and running his hardest. Now, I don't have to spell it out for you, do ya? I'm telling you that certain words associated with Eddie Lacy, and it's not spelled with a PH in front. I know what I think we should call him now, the Pack. We should call him Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lazy instead of Lacy, because he's sending a one-way ticket to the bench. I can tell you this right now, right here, if Eddie Lacy was up to snuff last playoffs, there'd be a different Super Bowl champion and a different person kissing Papa John on the cheek at the end. It's about halftime now, folks, and boy do I have a halftime performance for you all. I'm gonna grab my axe, Bart Starr the guitar, and jam out. Welcome back from halftime to Pass the GrigSkin. Now, I'm debuting a little new extra segment for you that you might not hear on something like ESPN, and I'm going to call this segment GrigSkin Giggles, or if you Grig Iron Gang fans would like to call it something else, I'm proposing GrigSkin Griggles. And what this segment is we're going to look on the light side of football every once in a while and get something to laugh at, because it's a serious game, but that doesn't mean we can't have a good time and a good laugh. So, my first topic is going to be rings, and I'm telling you guys, we all know we want our team to have a ring. I know I cherish the Packers rings. Can't even tell you how many days I partied hard after the Packers won, and I won't even tell you where I woke up sometimes, and sometimes it was the floor. But we know, let me tell you about rings, guys. We're always the ones complaining about the women, always wanted diamonds on their rings. But let's tell you this, we don't even care if one of the players is crying because they won or lost at the Super Bowl, because they want the ring just as bad as the girls. And that's Griggle for today. Back to analysis. We're gonna move on from the old and go on to the new. We're done with the 2015-2016 season, and we're ready for the new one. And here's who I think are the players to watch next season. First of all, we got Josh Freeman, and I know you folks at home are saying he hasn't played well for 2 years. He went to the Dolphins, he went to the Colts, he's nothing more than a backup. Well, let me tell you this, guys, here's my big prediction. He'll be back on track before you know it. And because of this, I'm going to rename him not Josh Freeman, but Jock Freeman. He's going to show his athletic abilities and show all you doubters that you shouldn't have been doubting. And I have 2 stats. I know I'm not a stats guy, and I'm sure most of you aren't. I don't want to bore you with numbers, don't want you to pull out the calculators, but here's two numbers I gotta throw out at you. In the 2010 season, he was 25-6, where 25 was his touchdowns and 6 was interceptions. And then in 2012, almost as good, he was 27-17. So he's gonna go a bit on fire for a bit, and don't forget about his speed, because a bit of fire in his feet was scoring 4 rushing touchdowns in 2012 or 2011, and he's my player to watch. Another player to watch is DeMarco Murray. As I said before, Chip Kelly put Philadelphia on fire and made a mess of the situation, and he turned even DeMarco Murray, the leading rusher for the Cowboys, into a bland, bad running back. And it wasn't because he was getting lazy like Eddie Lacy. And I'm thinking he's going to return back to form under a new coach. The new coach the Eagles have, who's like a firefighter, is going to put out the mess and fire. And those are my players to watch for the upcoming season. Also coming up is the draft. And I know we all got our big boards and we're all excited. And I'm going to talk more about it as we get closer to that April deadline. But there are two things for sure. The Cleveland Browns are going to try to get out of Browntown, and they're going to try to draft another QB who will hopefully stay on the field more than Johnny Football and win a couple rings for Cleveland, because the Cavaliers aren't going to do it at all. And another draft fact is that the Packers are just another example of the rich getting richer. Mike McCarthy and the rest of the GM brass are going to pick a guy that fits perfectly well into the Packers system, packing in a pack for new run at the ring. And maybe you hear it here first, they might even get a running back to replace Lazy Lacy. And that's just what I think, but that's also what I know. And that's about all we have for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Past the GrigSkin, First Down. Here's our outro. Time out and goodbye. This is Grig saying sayonara.